Can I read 28 books in 28 days? I think I can. Hi everyone, my name is Brittany from Brittany Loves Reading, and today I'm starting a new themed vlog. This month has been Battle of the Boy Bands. I'm wearing my Team NSYNC shirt. It is a readathon hosted by Rainy Blue Reads and co-hosted by Neva from Reading with Neva, Crystal from Bond Book Reviews, and myself. I was the host for Team NSYNC, obviously, and each team had its own group book that is featured around music. That being said, it is the last weekend of Battle of the Boy Bands, so I have 5 days left of the month, and I have planned to read all of the group books, minus one, in this vlog, and have a music-themed book vlog with all the team books. I am collabing this video with one of the other co-hosts, Neva, with Reading with Neva. We're both reading all these books this weekend and into the first part of next week. So I will have all the hosts linked down below, but also Neva and her collab video. So go check those out. I am not going to be reading Malibu Rising, which is the team book for Jonas Brothers, because I've already read it. I gave it 5 stars. I loved it, but I don't feel like rereading it right now. So I'm just going to stick to the 3 group books that I haven't read. And the first one I'm going to be doing is Team Hansen, which is hosted by Crystal. And that is Daisy Jones and the Six. So Daisy Jones and the Six is by Taylor Jenkins Reid. I haven't read this one. I've read every Taylor Jenkins Reid after Daisy Jones. So Evelyn, Malibu, and Carrie. I have not read Daisy Jones and the Six, but I'm very excited to. I'm a little nervous about the writing style, but I've already started and I'm starting to get used to the interview style of this book. So it's seeming to be okay. This, like I said, is told in interview style. It's like transcripts and interviews of the band members of the Six and Daisy Jones and their friends and acquaintances and families surrounding the rise of this band, Daisy Jones and the Six. I do have the audiobook for this because I've been told by almost everyone that the audiobook is essential. Like, you must read with audiobook. So I have the audiobook as well. And so far I am enjoying this quite a bit. I'm only 76 pages in, so I'm not far. I'm just really meeting all the characters and getting to know them at this point, but I'm enjoying it so far. I will come back soon and let you know my thoughts. I do plan to finish this today, fingers crossed. I'll let you know how that goes when I come back. Hi everyone, it has been a minute since I've spoken to you. It's been a minute. The weekend was extremely busy. I did get some reading done, but I didn't finish anything, so I didn't vlog. And now it is Tuesday morning. It's Tuesday morning. It is the last day of February, which means it's the last day of Battle of the Boy Bands. And I want to finish all the team books before the end of the month. All is not lost because I have made progress, and I'm going to do an update for you all now to update you on where I am. So last night I did finish Daisy Jones and the Six. So this one is complete. I have completed this. I'm going to give this 4 stars. I really did love this book. It really read like a documentary or a biography of this band, Daisy Jones and the Six. It was all in interview style, so I'm really glad I had the audiobook because I think if I had to physically read this, it would not have gone as well as it did not physically reading it. This is probably my least favorite Taylor Jenkins Reid book. It read really like a nonfiction, and I think the style was just not my favorite, but I'm glad I did it with the audiobook because I think that bumped it up in the end. The ending of this book was everything and heartbreaking at the end, which definitely solidified my 4-star rating for this book. Also, the moment we find out who the author is of this book in the fictional world of Daisy Jones and the Six, I was like, oh my gosh, I love this. It wasn't even something I knew I was curious about because I wasn't, but when I found out who the author was, it just pulled this story together in a way that it wouldn't have had Taylor Jenkins Reid not made that choice. I love Taylor Jenkins Reid, and like I said, this is my least favorite, but it's still a 4-star, so it's still fantastic. I feel like I'm the last person in the world to read Daisy Jones and the Six, But I'm actually kind of excited to watch the movie now because I think the movie will be really good because I think the story actually leads more to a movie than a book, if that makes sense. Like, I think this is a book that was meant to be a movie. So I think that's going to be really good. And I think it comes out like in the next few days. So very excited to watch that now that I've read this. Now, like I said, there are still 2 teen books that I have to read. But all is not lost because I have started This Lovely City. This is the teen book for Team in Sync. I've already started it. It's by Louise Hare. And I've actually made it quite a ways through. I'm on page 226. So I did put a good dent in this weekend, and I'm really enjoying this. I haven't picked up a historical fiction in a minute, and I'm really liking getting back to the genre. It has been a minute since I've read a historical fiction, and I'm excited that I am right now. This follows Laurie, who is a Jamaican immigrant to Britain just after World War II. This is set in 1950, but there's also a second timeline in 1948, which is the year Laurie immigrated to England. It's set in London. It's set in the jazz clubs of London, as Laurie is a clarinet player in a jazz band at night and a postman during the day. So one day, while Laurie is delivering parcels, he stumbles upon a discovery in the lake of a murdered baby in a blanket. And instantly, the police zero in on Laurie as a suspect just due to the color of his skin. And also start to hunt down everyone in Laurie's life, trying to pin this on Laurie. It also follows Evie, who is Laurie's girlfriend. They are in a courtship, and I just am loving the relationship between Evie and Laurie. That's all I'm going to tell you right now, and I'm going to wait to give you my full thoughts at the end of this novel, but I'm really intrigued and having all sorts of thoughts and emotions as I'm reading through this. So I'm going to finish this next, and then I still have to read We Sold Our Souls. So there's going to be a lot of reading today. I do have the audiobook for We Sold Our Souls, so it should be doable to read the last 100-ish pages of This Lovely City and all of We Sold Our Souls today. Fingers crossed. Wish me luck. Hello. It is later in the day. It is 5 o'clock. It is dinner time, and I have officially finished This Lovely City by Louise Hare. This took a little bit longer because I did have to physically read this and I was doing other things through the day. If I had had an audiobook, that would have been helpful, but this doesn't have an audiobook. Like, not even on Audible. So I had to physically read this book. I am going to give this 5 stars. I absolutely loved this book. This book had me feeling all the feels at times. I was happy. I was angry. I was sad. I was intrigued. It had it all. It had it all. So like I said earlier, this follows Laurie, who is a postman by day and a jazz musician by night, and also Evie. Both, it kind of does like one chapter from Laurie's perspective, one chapter from Evie's perspective, and switches back and forth. They are a courting couple in the 1950s. I love the relationship between Laurie and Evie. It is so sweet, but they are dealing with hard things. So there's a lot of hard things happening around them and in their relationship that is building their relationship to be the strong foundation that it is for this book. And I love this couple so much, like so much. So at the first chapter, Laurie is doing his postman thing. He finds this murdered baby on the edge of the pond. And the police suspect that he has something to do with this just because he is a Black man and the baby is also Black. So they just assume that he must have had something to do with this. We see the racism and the discrimination against Black people in London in the 1950s. These are all immigrants from the Windrush generation, which is a boat that came to London from Jamaica and I think other Caribbean countries in 1948. There is a little bit of a dual timeline situation where we see what happened when Laurie and his friends first arrive in London in 1948, and then also what's happening now in 1950 following Laurie finding this baby. The police, they are so infuriating. They seem to just want to pin it on Laurie and don't want to do any sort of investigation to find actually what happened. I don't think they really care for a lot of it, which is so angering and heartbreaking. But it's a very accurate depiction of 1950s. The author covers the topic very well. Louise Hare, this is a debut novel, and that is even more reason why I'm giving this 5 stars, because for a debut, excellent, just excellent. The whole time we are following this case from Laurie and Evie's perspective, and through the investigation, I use air quotes because it wasn't very investigated, we discover some deep family secrets of Evie's, and various things come to light of Laurie's past and Evie's past, and we discover various things. We do, in the end, find out what happens to the baby, and it is just heart-wrenching. Like, the whole story is just absolutely heart-wrenching. The love story is beautiful. The found family aspect of this, of all these Caribbean immigrants coming together and looking out for each other and banding together, was just so beautiful, just so beautiful. Also seeing the allyship of some white British people being allies to this community, even though it was not popular and was going to put you on the wrong side of this investigation, and seeing them ally with Laurie and Evie. And it was heartbreaking. It was beautiful. It was everything that I wanted this to be. And I cannot believe this was a debut novel. So 5 stars, highly recommend. That being said, it is 5 p.m. and I have an entire other book to read for this vlog. And if I complete this book before midnight tonight, I will have read all the team books. I will also have read 28 books in 28 days for February. So there's a lot riding on getting this done. I have Tuesday night sprints with friends tonight, and I already messaged the friends who are Kelsey and Amy, and I'm like, we might be doing some intense sprints tonight because I need to read this whole book. The audiobook at my current listing speed, which I usually start at 1.8, and I'll see if I can get it even higher, is 5 hours. So it's doable. I can do it. It's fine. So this follows Chris Pulaski, who was the lead guitarist. Yes, the lead guitarist in a rock band. The lead singer decided to take his step away, leave the band, and do a solo career, breaking up the band. And now Chris works at a Best Western. Yep. And is the night manager at the Best Western. Something happens violently at the Best Western. It is not described in the synopsis other than that. And this leads Chris to do a road trip to basically find this lead singer or have a road trip with this lead singer. Again, I'm just reading the synopsis. I'll know more when I come back. But either to find or with this lead singer to hopefully get the band back together. I don't really know how all those circumstances come together, but those are the circumstances in the synopsis. So that's all I know. I am not a horror girly. However, this will be my 3rd Grady Hendrix, and I do like the writing style of Grady Hendrix. I read Horror Store earlier this month and got 4 stars. I read My Best Friend's Exorcism last year and it got 3. So I have slightly high hopes for this, even though it is horror, because it's Grady Hendrix. That being said, my friends are very divided on this book. Rainey did not like it, and I believe gave it 1 or 2 stars. Neva really liked it and gave it 4. Rainey said that most of her team did not like this book. So I'm trying not to go in with super high hopes. I'm trying to temper how I feel, just in case I agree with Rainey. But I also have high hopes that I will agree with Neva. Let's go get this done. Let's finish this vlog. Can I read 28 books in 28 days? I think I can. I think I've done it at this point. I think
we can consider this a victory as long as I go and put headphones in my ears and start listening to this right now. So that's what I'm gonna go do right now. Hi everyone, I have finished We Sold Our Souls by Grady Hendrix. I finished it very late last night. It was, I think, 11 o'clock when sprints ended, and then I ended up talking with Amy and Kelsey behind the scenes for like 40 minutes. So it was like 11:30 when I wrapped up, and I didn't want to vlog at 11:30, so it's the next day and I'm going to close out this vlog. I'm going to give We Sold Our Souls 2 stars. This is by far my least favorite Grady Hendrix, and mostly because the plot was a bit confusing, if not extremely confusing for me. And I think it's one of those things where I keep thinking I don't like horror, and then I like Grady Hendrix normally. But this plot leads into that more confusing part of horror where there's not a lot of explanations as to what is going on, and these really weird and odd things are happening, and there's not enough explanation for me, and I'm just confused, and I just don't like that in horror. I want more explanation, and horror doesn't tend to have that. But I find Grady Hendrix's horror does tend to have that, so this is kind of like an odd one out for me. I think it's just I need to maybe stop trying to read horror. I want to love horror, but I don't think that I tend to jibe with it. So this could definitely be a me thing and not a book thing, but for me, it is my least favorite Grady Hendrix, and I'm going to give it 2 stars, and I really can't tell you much about what it's about because, to be truthfully honest, I didn't really understand. It started off really solid with Chris at the Best Western, and then Chris meets an ex-band member. Then Chris meets up with some other band members, and it really takes a turn there to a place that I didn't understand. I was like, what is happening? I don't understand. I messaged Rainey, and Rainey didn't really understand either, and I was like, well, that doesn't help me. Like, I need someone to help me understand what's happening. I can't really tell you what happens. Like, I was very confused. So we're gonna chalk this up 2 stars and move on from there. But that is the end of this Boybands Readathon vlog. I have read 3 out of 4 team books, which means I have read all 4 now because I've already read Malibu Rising. And the ratings were all over the place. We had a 5-star with This Lovely City, a 4-star with Daisy Jones and the Six, and a 2-star with We Sold Our Souls. If you participated in Battle of the Boybands, let me know how your month went down in the comments. I'd love to know. And if you didn't, still let me know how your month went. I'd love to know how February went for you. I did end up reading 28 books in 28 days. I'm going to need a nap. March 1st is a nap. That's what's going to happen. Thank you so much for watching. Please like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.